systematic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy name which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vyasadeva in Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their life for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the name of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the order of the spiritual master. 4. To blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna. 6. To give 5. To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity Karma Kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha conference call. Before we move on to the next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class, may I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Daksha Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining every day and announcing your name first. Welcome to the call, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashamati Priya Devidasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashumati Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and chanting so beautifully, early morning and mid-morning, giving your sweet association. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण मिनी सगंदरी का माता जी धन्यवाद प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Priti Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day, giving your sweet association. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Raleigh. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and giving your association every single day. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. This is Sundarangi Radha Devidasi from India. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sundarangi Radha Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining from India and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. This is Shamaguri Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shamagauri Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining and all glories to your wonderful services to the group. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, and to all the assembled devotees, my humble obeisances to Prabhupada and all of you. I'm Sudhakar joining from Saudi Arabia.
Hare Krishna, Sudhakar Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining and all glories to your wonderful services to the group. We are very grateful to you, Prabhu, for your service. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Vinta Gandharika Mataji, Dhanvat Pranamal Gurshila Prabhupada and Gurudev. This is Radha Pyare Devidasi from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Radha Pyari Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every single day and chanting so beautifully. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Today, we are very fortunate to have His Grace Krishna Dhan Prabhuji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th Canto, Chapter 1, 30 to 32 verse. We are covering a couple of verses today. Before I hand over the call to Prabhuji, I request Sudhakar Prabhuji to take over from here and give a brief introduction about Krishna, then Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Can I, am I audible, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Krishnadhan Prabhuji actually is a senior brahmachari and a full-time preacher at ISKCON Nasik since 2008. He is presently the president of ISKCON Nasik and looks after youth preaching activities in Nasik. As the founder and the director of Samruddhi School of Leadership, he has been stressing on how crucial it is to train and guide the teenagers. His recently published book, Get Set Go Student Success Handbook, is highly acclaimed for its lucidity and a practical guide in Krishna consciousness. His motivational speaking has struck coordinates with many industrialists and also youth in bringing all to the platform of the Krishna consciousness. His seminars and courses based on the Vedic scriptures have found a niche among the corporates and colleges across Mumbai. He is also the committee member of the Gopal Gandhar High School. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that introduction. I don't see Prabhuji. Okay, Prabhuji is not yet joined. If anybody would like to introduce themselves, please go ahead. Or else I can continue chanting. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण राम हरे हरे कृष्ण राम हरे कृष्ण राम हरे Hare Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. I now hand over the call to you, Prabhuji. Verses are 8th canto, 1st chapter, 30 to 32 verse, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your kind welcome. Should we begin?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namaha Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। So Hare Krishna, I'd like to welcome all of you for this session on Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm meeting you after a long time. I'll just share the screen so that we can discuss about the shlokas. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 1, the Manus administrators of the universe, and I think we are discussing 3 shlokas. So 8.130. तत्रापि जज्ञे भगवान् हरिण्यां हरिमेधसः हरिरित्याहृतो येन गजेन्द्र मोचितो गृहात्. Translation. Also in this Manvantara, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth in the womb of Harini, the wife of Harimedha, and he was known as Hari. Hari saved his devotee Gajendra, the king of the elephants, from the mouth of a crocodile. Text 31. श्रीराजोवाच बादरायण एतत्ते श्रोतुमिच्छामहे वयम् हरिर्यथा गजपतिं ग्रस्तममुमुचत्. Translation. King Parikshit said, "My lord Badrayani, we wish to hear from you in detail how the king of the elephants, when attacked by a crocodile, was delivered by Hari." Text 32. Tatkathasu mahatpunyam dhanyam swastyayanam shubham yatra yatrottama shloko bhagavan giyate harihi. Translation and purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Any literature or narration in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead Uttama Shloka is described and glorified is certainly great, pure, glorious, auspicious, and all good. Purport. The Krishna consciousness moment is spreading all over the world simply by describing Krishna. We have published many books, including Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in 17 volumes, 400 pages each, as well as Bhagavad Gita and Nectar of Devotion. We are also publishing Srimad Bhagavatam in 60 volumes. Wherever a speaker holds discourses from these books and an audience hears him, this will create a good and auspicious situation. Therefore, the preaching of Krishna consciousness must be done very carefully by the members of the Krishna consciousness movement, especially the sannyasis. This will create an auspicious atmosphere. So, very wonderful thing is going on. Basically, Srimad Bhagavatam, we all know, have 10 topics described in it. It is mentioned in second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanamutayah manvantaresha nukatha nirodho muktirashrayah. So these are the 10 topics which spread over the 12 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. And specifically, we have just begun the 8th canto. We are in the first chapter, and the title of the chapter itself is The Reign of Manos. So the entire 8th canto actually falls in the category of Manvantara, which is one of the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. The second, third cantos basically talk about Sarga and Visarga. 5th canto talk about Atra Sarga Visargascha Sthanam. 5th canto talk about Sthanam. 6th canto talked about Poshanam. 7th canto talked about Utayah, Uti, auspicious and inauspicious inclinations. And the 8th canto mainly talks about Manvantara. Like the day of Brahma, in one day, there are 14 Manvantaras. And each Manvantara's lifespan is approximately 1000 into 71 yugas. So that is the span, and like that Brahmaji lives for, we know, 100 years. So in each Manvantara, actually there is a set, which set replicates for every Manvantara. So a set of demigods set of Saptarshis, and set of Manvantara. Manvantara is basically the Lord who incarnates in reign of each Manu is called as Manvantara Avatar, Lord's incarnation. So like Manvantara Avatar of the Lord, incarnation of the Lord. So all these keep changing for every Manvantara. Even the Saptarshis, 7 rishis, who are there, like the discussion has happened till now. Various Manvantaras, like the first Manu was Swayambhu Manu, and then who was the Manvantara incarnation, and who were all Saptarshis, and who were the set of Devatas. Everything is described by Shukdev Goswami, because Parikshit had that question. And the second Manu was Swarochisha, and the third was the son of Priyavrata Uttama, and the fourth Manvantar is like the Tamasa, who was brother of Uttama, the fourth Manu. That description has begun, and in that Manvantar, what happened? So every Manvantar has some specific event that has happened. So Shukdev Goswami not only is talking about the Manvantar, but he is also talking about some special events which has happened in a particular Manvantara. So this is a Tamasa Manvantar, and the first beginning, the 30th verse, it talks about, what happened. It's like 30th verse, it describes that, in this Manvantar, what happened? A crocodile caught hold of an elephant, and then the elephant was saved by Lord. The incarnation of the Lord is described as Hari, and he saved this Gajendra, the king of the elephants. And then 31st verse, Parikshit Maharaj put forth an inquiry. Oh, the Lord saved Gajendra. I want to hear that in great detail. We all know, it's like Parikshit Maharaj was cursed to die within 7 days by Shringi, and we have almost reached the 8th canto now. So 10th, and then the 12th. So it means at least 50% of the time has passed. So Parikshit's inquiry are very enthusiastic. He's enthusiastic to learn about and hear about the Lord. At one place, he says, Naishati dussahak shunmam tyaktodam apibadate pibantan tvanmukham bhojachutam harikathamrutam. I'm listening to the harikatha emanating from your mouth, and naishati dussahak shunmam tyaktodam apibadate. I've given up eating and drinking and sitting here, but those urges are not disturbing me, Shukdev Goswami. Don't mind about them. Keep describing your glories of the Lord, and I am drinking these glories of the Lord. So the material thirst, hunger, sleep are not at all disturbing me. Don't consider them. And by the way, he was disturbed by the thirst in the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. We heard that story, and that's why Srimad Bhagavatam has begun. So basically, this is a great qualification of a devotee, and that is eagerness to hear from pure devotees of the Lord. He is not in hurry. Okay, this happened in this Manvantar. Okay, let us go next. What next? What next? No. He is eager to listen more about the pastimes of the Lord. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita also, if we see 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, in 10th chapter also, the 8, 9, 10, 11, 4 verses talk about the Chatushloki Gita. And some acharyas mention their commentary that the Gita actually ends here, because Arjuna also concluded, Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum 10.12. So he concluded, like, you are supreme, and Sarvametadritam Manne Yanma Madasi Keshava, whatever you say, I accept that as truth. But still, he was not satisfied, Okay, I accept you as supreme, but still, katham vidyamaham yogim swam sada parichintayan keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagwan maya. In what forms, where I can do your chintan while living in the material world? And he said, I'm not satisfied. Vistarenatmano yogam vibhutim cha janardana bhuyah kathaya truptirhi shunvato na asti me amrutam. I'm listening to your glories and I'm not satisfied. I want to listen more. And that's how the entire 10th chapter begins now. And then again he has some question. I want to see that form. And then the Vishwarup Darshan Yoga, 11th chapter, opens up. So like that, Bhagavad Gita goes on till 18th chapter. By the way, some commentators say that the Gita has already ended, but Arjuna was not satisfied. And therefore the Gita expands. So because of Arjuna's eagerness to learn, we got Bhagavad Gita, and because of Parikshit Maharaja's eagerness to learn, we got Srimad Bhagavatam. So the eagerness of these devotees have given us these great scriptures. So this gives us a good lesson that we should be eager to learn. And by that, not only we, but everyone will be satisfied and everyone will get a chance to listen to Krishna Katha. And then the third, Parikshit Maharaj then says, by the way, these are all the verses what we are discussing. This is like Parikshit Maharaj is saying this, that katha I want to listen. And what is the characteristic of the katha? He says in the 32nd verse that we talked about, that katha, he gives 4 attributes, 4 specifics, or the 4 effects that can take place when someone hears Krishna Katha. He says the Krishna Katha, the adjective used is like Mahat Punyam. Punyam means, pious or pure. Proper translated as pure. So the Krishna Katha is pure, first thing he says. The second thing he says is Dhanyam, that is glorious. The third thing he says, Swasti Ayanam, it creates all auspiciousness. And then the fourth thing he says is Shubham, all good. So talks about Krishna, they're all pure, they're all glorious, they're all auspicious, they're all good. Many people in this world, to create some auspiciousness, to create something good, they have elaborate arrangements. Some people do yajna, some people do chant some mantras like that. The greatest auspiciousness can be created when we chant the holy names of the Lord and do Krishna Katha. Srila Prabhupada writes in this purport actually. Therefore, we have written so many books. And to give Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada had taken some break while writing Srimad Bhagavatam. And that was, I think, in the year 1974, 73-74. In one Mayapur Yatra, when Prabhupada invited all his disciples throughout the world to come for Mayapur Yatra. In that Mayapur, during some lecture series, he was talking about this, that someone requested me that you are writing Bhagavatam, why don't you write Chaitanya Charitamrita? And then Prabhupada took that project. And we know that famous incidents of printing Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Prabhupada is writing in the purport that we have Bhagavad Gita, that we have Nectar of Devotion, that we have Chaitanya Charitamrita ready. And now we are in this Srimad Bhagavatam. Now the 8th canto, Prabhupada is in 8th canto, and Prabhupada writes, we are preparing the 60-volume Bhagavatam set. So these 4 books, Prabhupada stresses a lot. Even in summary study of Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes, if someone really wants to understand anything about Bhakti, that is available in these 4 books. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Nectar of Devotion. So these books are the primary basis for our Krishna consciousness moment. And therefore we are writing these books so that it can create all auspiciousness around. And Prabhupada is at the end of this purport, actually, Prabhupada gives an instruction also to the followers of Krishna consciousness moment. Therefore, the preaching of Krishna consciousness must be done very carefully by the members of the Krishna consciousness movement. And Prabhupada writes, especially sannyasis. But everyone is supposed to preach, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has ordered all of us. We know from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela that South Indian Kurma Brahmana, Bhujitena pari vishaya tarange. I can't tolerate these difficulties. I want to come with you. When Mahaprabhu was during South India Yatra, and then Mahaprabhu said, Gruher Rahiya, stay at home and Krishna Katha, do Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan. And then he instructed that Kurma Brahmana, what famous order he gave, Amaragya Guru Hayya Tari Desh. Bharat Bhumite Haile Manusya Janma Jar Janma Sarthak Kari Kar Paropakar. That is at the other place. But this is like become Guru on my instruction. Amaragya Guru Hayya Tari Desh. Preach this message. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is saying. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking to a grihastha, and then he ordered him, you preach. So therefore, preaching Krishna, Prabhupada writes this, preaching Krishna consciousness must be done very carefully. So we should be very careful about preaching. It should be done carefully by the members of Krishna consciousness movement. And this will create an auspicious atmosphere. So if you want to create really an auspicious atmosphere, then we should all engage in this activity of preaching. And what will be the effects? Because Parikshit Maharaj is talking about the effects of Krishna consciousness, effects of preaching, effects of Krishna Katha. These are Punyam, Dhanyam, Swastyanam, Shubham. He gives so many adjectives for this Krishna Katha. So therefore I thought of sharing with you that's what Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, that when we preach, it will create all auspiciousness around. So what are all effects of preaching which we can see in the society? So I have made an acronym, preaching, PREACH, preach. And we will discuss about the effects that can take place when we preach Krishna Katha, when we preach about the Krishna conscious philosophy given by Srila Prabhupada in the entire world. So the first effect is P, which tells us it purifies the hearts of the people. First thing, the effect of preaching, when we preach, when we glorify Krishna, and then someone listens to those glories, what happens is, for both speaker and hearer, the heart is purified. So the first P of preach is purification. Srimad Bhagavatam 2:37, it talks about the wonderful effect of Krishna Katha when it enters into the ears of the hearers. Pibantiye Bhagavat Atmana Satam Kathamrutam Shravana Puteshu Samrutam. Krishna. Pibantiye. So those who drink the nectarian Krishna Katha, Kathamrutam Shravana Puteshu Samrutam, Punantite Vishaya Vidushitashayam, Vidushit Ashaya. Ashaya means the goal of life or the aim of life, the polluted aim of life. People have different aims in their life, to become this, to go there, and like that. So all these polluted aims, sense gratificatory aims, are purified. And we also listen Krishna Katha. We have been listening since years together, and we are also experiencing some level of purification. One time, someone asked a sannyasi in the class this question: I've been hearing Krishna Katha since many days, but I don't think something is happening. Why this? And then the speaker gave a very wonderful example through a story. And he was narrating, one time a same student, similar to you, a student went to a guru and asked, I have been practicing this, the sadhana given by you. I'm not experiencing any transformation. What is happening? Am I progressing or not? And then actually the guru gave him a pot which had many holes and asked him, you go to a river nearby and get me some water. So the student, he was a sincere student of the guru. He went, and as soon as he put the pot in the river, because it had many holes, the water leaked through the holes, and before he reached the Guru, the water was not there in the pot. And then he said, there is no water left. Guru said, go again. So like that, he went again came back, no water, all the water leaked out. And after 8-10 times, then the disciple was frustrated. I had a question that is something happening to me or not? And then the Guru is giving me something, the job, which is seemingly illogical or useless task, I'm just getting and better get some another pot and get the water. And then in his frustration, he asked the Guru, what is this? And then the Guru replied, you just check out the pot. What has happened to the pot? And then he checked in, okay, what is this? That the pot when I give you was like not a very clean pot, but now the pot has been thoroughly cleaned. Though it is not able to sustain the full water in it, but the pot has got cleaned. Similarly, we might not be able to recollect what we have heard in some classes previously, but that hearing of the class or something like, the another analogy which we give, what we ate last week, we might not be able to recollect, but whatever we had ate, that has nourished our body at that time. So similarly, Krishna Katha nourishes us. Maybe that we might not be able to recollect everything, or is like the pot, nothing might be hold, but the cleansing is happening. Similarly, the first effect of our preaching is P, that is purification of both the hearer as well as the speaker. Second is R, which signifies it removes the ignorance from people's heads. People have so many misconceptions and so many vague ideas about spirituality, So a proper preaching, actually, what it does, it removes that ignorance from the heads of the people and establishes the true principles in their heads. Okay, this is Krishna, this is Supreme Personality. So the exact understanding of the spiritual truths happen when we preach the message of Krishna consciousness. The next E, what happens is it elevates people's consciousness. People's consciousness these days is like degraded because of mode of passion and ignorance. A lot of passion and ignorance prevailing, specifically in this age of Kali. And therefore, Srimad Bhagavad gives the solution actually to this. And what is that? First canto, second chapter. Tada rajastamo bhava kamalobha dayaschaye cheta etairana vidham sthitam satve prasidati. When one hears, the effect of hearing is that all these modes are subdued and one is situated in the transcendental mode of goodness by listening to Krishna Katha. So when we are preaching this message, we are actually elevating people's consciousness by lowering their Raja and Tama gun in them. And the next letter in the acronym is A, attracts the soul towards Krishna. So that is A. In the material world, otherwise, everyone is attracted towards sense gratificatory objects. Eyes wants to look something beautiful. Tongue wants to taste something tasty. Or the ear wants to hear some sweet music like that. So we are just looking for, forgetting Krishna. The conditioned soul is looking in all direction to search for the happiness. And for the meager happiness, he is ready to work very hard. And that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken. Canto 3, chapter 8, slok number 2. Soham nृणां क्षुल्ल सुखाय दुःखम महद्गतानां विरमाय तस्य प्रवर्तये भागवतं पुराणं यदा साक्षात् भगवान ऋषिभ्यः. So aham nrinam kshulla sukhaya, for that kshulla sukha, for that meager happiness, mahadgata, kshulla sukhaya dukkham mahadgatanam, for that kshulla sukha, for that momentary pleasure, people of this world are toiling very hard and pouring their blood, and they are suffering this much. So for this much pleasure, they are suffering this much. So Mahadgatanam Viramaya Tasya, to stop this, Pravartaye Bhagavatam Puram, to stop their endeavors, Bhagavatam is spoken. So when we speak Krishna Katha, when we start preaching, actually, people come to know their real goal of life, and then they get attracted towards Krishna. And there are many examples. Our scriptures are replete with those examples that people who just heard somewhere something about Krishna and they got attracted to Krishna. The best example is of Rukmini. Rukmini, when she wrote a letter to Krishna, the first love letter, through a Brahmana, when she sent, she writes, Shrutva gunan bhuvana sundara shunvatam te nirvishya karna vivarai haratong gatapam Rupam drusham drushimatam akhilarthalabham tvai achyuta vishati chittam apatrapam me. I am shamelessly attracted to you. Why? Shrutva gunan. I have just heard about your qualities. So she heard the qualities of Krishna and she got attracted to Krishna. So the acronym A, the letter A in this acronym talks about the attraction of the conditioned soul towards Krishna by the effects of preaching or by the effects of Krishna Katha. In third canto, there is very beautiful interaction between Swayambhuva Manu and Karda Muni. Swayambhuva Manu, Karda Muni has done a lot of tapasya. Lord appeared to him. At the end of the tapasya, he said, I want a good girl to marry. And then the Lord said, okay, Swayambhuva Manu will come along with his girl. After some time, Swayambhuva Manu's girl is Devotee. And then Lord departs, and then after some time Swayambhu Manu appears there. Swayambhu Manu had a good discussion happens between Swayambhu and Kardama. That is in 22nd chapter of 3rd canto. And there Swayambhu Manu mentions one very important thing. He said, my daughter Devahoti, she has not yet seen you. She is seeing you for the first time. We are meeting you for the first time. But she has already made up her mind. She has fixed her heart on you just by listening to your qualities from Narada. So Narada Muni Bajai Vina Radhikaramana. Narada Muni keeps traveling here, glorifying these. So Narada Muni might have glorified Kardam Muni sometime. So Devotee had already made up her mind to marry Kardama that time only. And that was such a couple, Kardam Muni and Devotee. Lord himself appeared to them as Kapila Muni. And then the entire 3rd canto after that is Kapila Muni's instructions. So the point is, when someone listens, they have to get attracted towards Krishna. And that's how Shukdev Goswami himself, how he got attracted to Krishna. In some other Puranas, this story comes, how he was attracted. He was running, and then the father is running behind. And then someone narrates this shloka, 2 shlokas. One is about the beauty of Krishna and another is about the mercy of Krishna. Barha Pidam Natavaranapu, about the beauty, and then Aho Bhakyam Stanakala Kutam, about the mercy. So just by listening to these shlokas, Shukdev Goswami was attracted to Krishna. We preaching A. C stands for connecting the soul to Krishna. So one not only gets attracted, but that connection is established. And the proof is Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd canto 8th chapter 4th shloka. Shrunvata shraddhaya nityam grunatascha swachestitam kalena na atidirghena bhagavan vishate hradi. When one hears regularly Shrunvata shraddhaya with faith nityam every day and gunatascha swachestitam with efforts, someone when listens to Krishna Katha, what is the result? Kalena nath dirghena bhagavan vishate. The Lord is established within the heart of that person. Lord is already there in the heart of everyone. Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto. But person realizes the presence of the Lord in the heart and the Lord is established. Even the first canto, first chapter, when the glories of Bhagavatam are delineated, the second sloka, Dharma projita katavatra. At the end, Sadyo Rudhi Avaruddhyatetra Kritibhi Sushrushu tat kshanat. When one listens, immediately the Lord is established in the heart of the person who listens. So automatically then what happens is there is immediate connection between the individual soul and the super soul. That happens. So this is the next result of preaching, that the soul is connected. And the last is H, which basically is the not only connection in the present, but at the end, it helps the soul return home back to Godhead, helping the soul to go back to Godhead. And the very first sloka which we discussed about purification, 237 Srimad Bhagavatam. The next line is Punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam brajanti taccharan saroruhantikam. What is the effect of hearing? Two effects it talks about. Punanti te vishaya vidushitashayam. Vidushit ashaya, their polluted aims of life are purified. And vrajanti tacharana saroruhantikam. They go and attain the lotus feet of the Lord in the spiritual world. So that is the result. And therefore, actually, if we want all these results, then we should certainly preach the message of Krishna consciousness, which Srila Prabhupada is asking repeatedly at various places. Preach, preach, preach. And today, specifically, he is talking about, because Parikshit Maharaj is talking about the effect of speaking Krishna Katha, and then Prabhupada is taking that as an opportunity and instructing each one of us that one should carefully preach, that will create all auspiciousness. And how the auspiciousness is created, that we discussed through an acronym, preach. And briefly, I would like to add upon one more thing, that okay, we are preaching and this is going to be the result. What should be the qualification of a preacher? Who is qualified? Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the order to this grahastha. Yare dekha tarakaho Krishna upadesh, amar agya guru hoya tariye desh. Whomsoever you meet, give this knowledge of Krishna and become guru. So becoming guru is not so easy. And specifically about this becoming the messenger of Krishna consciousness. So what are qualifications of a preacher? So I have tried to make also the same acronym PRESEH, which will tell us about the qualifications of a preacher. So the first acronym told us about the effects of preaching, and now we'll discuss about this acronym, which talks about the qualifications of a preacher. So the first is P, that stands for purity. So a preacher of Krishna consciousness must be pure, try to maintain the purity at all the levels, body, mind, and words, and be sincere in one's intentions. As Srila Prabhupada always tells, purity is the force. So that can give the impact to what we do. So then this question arises in the heart of someone. If I'm not that pure, should I not preach? No. very wonderful thing I learned from Shivram Swami Maharaj. In his book Shuddha Bhakti Chintamani, he mentions that we all know there is Bhakti Lata Bija. We sow the seed Bhakti Lata Bij, and then it becomes creeper, and then we should fence the creeper and let everything. And we should protect the creeper, water the creeper. Shravana, Kirtana, Jale Karaya, Sinchana. So Shravana and Kirtan, when we do, it does Sinchan. So Maharaj mentions there that preaching is also watering that seed. So basically, he's saying that preaching is also sadhana, which will purify us. So I will become 100% pure and then will preach. This is not going to happen. So start preaching, maintain the basic level of purity as expected from a preacher in the moment of Srila Prabhupada. And then by preaching also we will gain some purity. So with the existing purity, with the gained purity from new preaching, then you preach, the preaching will be more effective, and then the more purity will come, and with the more purity we preach more. So like that, the expansion and the expansion, the cyclic expansion will keep happening. So we also make progress towards Krishna, and others whom we preach also go closer to Krishna. So this is the effect of purity in Krishna consciousness. So a preacher has to be pure. R stands for responsibility of preaching. So basically preaching, we should consider that as our responsibility. Why? When the Guru orders a disciple, it's disciple's responsibility to carry out the order. Now, if we look back into our parampara, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave order to Srila Prabhupada to preach. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave order to this Grihastha. Yar dekha tara kaho Krishna Upadesh, Amara Agya Guru Haya Tari Desh. This Prabhupada writes in the purport, this instruction is actually to us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to everyone. And Srila Prabhupada, as I didn't get much time, but at various places Srila Prabhupada gives this instruction. Even Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन् मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्यः प्रियतर. There is no one dear to me on this planet. Neither was there anyone more dear to me, nor in the future there one will be more dear to me than one who preaches this message. So indirectly Krishna is asking, preach this message, right? So Lord Chaitanya is instructing, Krishna is instructing, Srila Prabhupada is instructing. So everyone is basically instructing. So we should consider that as our responsibility. Oh, everyone is saying. So a good disciple is one who doesn't burden the shoulder of the Guru, but shoulder the burden of the Guru. So we should shoulder their burden, because that is the anxiety of the great souls actually. The great souls are anxious about delivering others. And when we help them in reducing their anxiety, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to say, I am a gardener and this is a mango tree which has fully ripened mangoes and the tree is laden with fruits. How many I can distribute? Please come and help me. So anyone who goes and helps Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in distributing, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, it is not free of cost. You also enjoy and you also distribute. So you will also get so many mangoes, and the storehouse is there, unlimited mangoes. You eat as much as you want and distribute as many as you want. So we should consider that as our personal responsibility, that I should contribute something in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, in the mission of preaching. Next is E, P-R-E. E stands for being enthusiastic while delivering the message, because our enthusiasm inspires Krishna consciousness in the hearts of the person. Like Narad Muni. Narad Muni had so much of enthusiasm to preach, He went and preached to 10,000 sons of Daksha. Who are they? You know, this 6th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. Haryashvas. They are called as Haryashvas. He preached them, he made them into brahmacharis, and then again the second lot of sons, Shavalashvas. They were 1000 in number. Preached them, they also joined their previous set of brothers. And then Narmani didn't stay there. He again went back and started preaching Daksha also. Daksha cursed him. You will not have a place of residence. And Narmani accepted that curse happily. Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport that he was a householder and he was like attached to his house. And therefore he thought that this will be a great curse to Narmani if I curse him. You will not have a place of residence. But that became the boon for Narmani and he kept traveling. And he devised various means by which he could preach to various audiences, So much of enthusiasm Narmani had. He just got to know Dhruva. There is someone, Dhruva, who has taken a sankalpa and is determined to attend the Lord. Okay, let me go. So he came, tested Dhruva, and then gave him the method by which within 6 months he was able to attend the Lord. So, like that, it's said, a preacher should be opportunist. Wherever he gets a chance, he will just find the chance and try to get an opportunity, go in and then spread the message somehow or the other. So that is enthusiasm while spreading the message of Krishna consciousness. The next is A, that is aligned with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. This is the qualification of a preacher, what we are discussing, So he should obviously stay aligned with these three, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Guru means our spiritual master, what they say. Sadhu is both Purvavarti Acharya, previous sages like Ramanuja, Madhvacha, and the current generation of Srila Prabhupada disciples. And Shastra is scriptures. So we should not be deviating from our parampara. So a preacher has to be very conscious and careful that in the name of innovation, there should not be a deviation. But that doesn't mean that we should not find the innovative ways of preaching. The only thing is, we just need to see that we are not deviating from the main path. Like Narmani was innovative, for Haryashvas, he devised means, just prahelika, just asked some questions and preached. And for the next set, he said, you should follow your brothers. Why are you wasting time? So that was enough. So to Dhruva, he had different preaching method. And he has a different preaching method altogether for Nalkuvar and Manigriv. He cursed them. And after so many years, then later Krishna came and delivered. So the point is, we should be aligned with Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. The next is C. C means a compassionate heart. A preacher should have compassion. Otherwise, he can't preach, right? One should certainly feel for suffering of others and have a genuine desire to uplift people from their level of consciousness. Like Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad, when we read prayers of Prahlad, Lord asked him, Prahlad, tell me what do you want? And Prahlad says, Naivodvije paraduratyaya vaitaranya swadvirya gayana mahamritamagna chittaha shoche tato vimukacheta sa indriyartha maya sukhaya bharam udvahato vimodhan. Naivodvije paraduratyaya vaitaranya. I don't have any anxiety of crossing this Vaitarana river. Vaitarana is basically the boundary, Viraja river, the boundary of the material and the spiritual world. I have no anxiety of crossing this Vaitarana river. It means I don't have any anxiety of my own liberation. Narsindev might ask, why? Kyun Baba? Why don't you have anxiety? Everyone is looking for going there. Why you don't want to go there? Or you don't have any anxiety? Naivo Dvija Paradurate Stwadvirya Gayana Maha Amruta Magna Chittaha. I am engaged, constantly absorbed in listening to the glories of your names and qualities, O my Lord. Therefore, I'll cross beyond this virja. There is no doubt about it. Then you don't have any anxiety at all? I have one anxiety. What is that? Shoche tato vimukachetasa. Vimukachetasa. I am lamenting. Shoche, I'm lamenting. This is one of my anxieties. I'm anxiety. What is anxiety? Vimukachetasa. Those who have turned face against you. And indriya sukha maya bharam udvahato vimudan. They are looking for tiny sense gratification, and they're putting so much of efforts to get that. That is not real happiness. They should become sanmukh to you. Therefore, I should do something for them. And I want to stay here in this planet until they get liberated. So that is the compassion of these great souls. Srila Prabhupada had a lot of compassion, a heart full of compassion. And that compassion made him actually go to the Western world, living the cozy place of Vrindavan. Many times when we had some discussions with preachers, some preachers come up and they say, we don't have any compassion, why should we preach? And then in our discussion, the point came that, okay, we might not have compassion, but we can become instruments in the hands of those who have compassion. Okay, we agree. I don't have compassion. I agree. But I can become an instrument in the hand of those who have compassion. Srila Prabhupada had compassion. Our spiritual masters have compassion. I want to become an instrument in their hand. That's all. And therefore, I'm preaching. So, this is the point. And the last is H, which means being humble, staying grounded. This is the basic qualification of preaching, right? A preacher not saying, I am elevating so many souls, right? No. You should be grounded, should be humble. The Lord, thanking the Lord, you made me an instrument to speak something about you, and giving all the credit to the previous parampara. Srila Prabhupada used to say to the disciples, my Guru Maharaj has sent me and you are all worshipable to me. That is what. Once in a public lecture in West, a reporter asked Srila Prabhupada, you speak so much about these four varnas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, like that. You fall into which category? And Srila Prabhupada thought for a while and he replied, I am none of these. I am servant of everyone. That was his humility. So he would consider himself as servant of everyone. The reporter might have imagined, he might say, I'm a Brahmana. So it means I'm a sannyasi, like that, So the point of the reporter was that the Prabhupada will put himself on the higher pedestal, and then the reporter will catch hold. You consider yourself superior or what? But then Srila Prabhupada replied, I am in no category, I am servant of all. And that's what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come to give us, Gopir Bhartuhu Padakamalayoho Dasa Dasanu Dasaha. We are all servants of the servants of the servants of the servants. This should be ingrained in the heart of a preacher, that yes, we are all servants of the servants of the servants. And like that, the degree goes on and on. Like Kulashekar King says 7 times, the Bhrutya Bhrutya Paricharaka Bhrutya Bhrutyasya Bhrutyeti Mam Smara Lokanatha. And then this theme is reiterated at various places in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you just find out that this quality of humility is there in the hearts of the preacher, then actually the preaching will be successful. So in nutshell, we talked about this 8th canto is basically Manvantara. Out of these 10 topics of Bhagavatam, one topic spreads. Jiva Goswami says it's not that, this is not particularly one canto, one topic, but all these 12 topics, all these 10 topics are spread everywhere at various places in the 12 cantos. It's not that Ishanu Katha or Poshanam is not there in the 8th canto. Yes, Lord protected Gajendra, so that is Poshanam only. And Lord's pastimes, that is Ishanu Katha, so that is also there. So, but the basic theme is Manvantara for the 8th canto. And we discussed about the eagerness of Parikshit Maharaj. Because of that, we have got Srimad Bhagavatam, and the eagerness of Arjuna, we have got Bhagavad Gita. That we discussed, and then we discussed 2 acronyms, preach, one acronym, because Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport very specifically. I like to read the line again. Therefore, the preaching of Krishna consciousness must be done very carefully by the members of the Krishna consciousness movement, and this will create the auspicious atmosphere. So, if we want to create the auspicious atmosphere around us in the entire world, a lot of inauspicious things are happening. So, the tool which we have with us is Krishna Katha and the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So, with this, when we preach, the effect, what it will be, we discussed in one acronym, preach. The effect will be PREACH. It purifies the heart. It removes the ignorance from people's heads. It elevates people's consciousness. It attracts the soul towards Krishna. It connects the people to Krishna in their heart, and it helps the soul return back home, back to Godhead. So that is one acronym we discussed. And the second is, for preaching, we also need some qualifications so that the preaching becomes effective. And we discussed that P stands for purity, our responsibility of preaching on us, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada wants, Lord Krishna also wants in Gita, being enthusiastic like Narad Muni, then aligned, being compassionate, and being humble instrument in the hands of our parampara. So that is the second acronym which we discussed. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class, Prabhuji. Very grateful to you. So much encouraging and motivating all of us to preach and give this message to everyone and get the love of Krishna and love of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Is it possible for you to share the notes of both the acronym for both the ways of preaching?
I have just jotted down sometime before the class. I'll share that few points with maybe Shamaguri Mataji. Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you so
Prabhu,
much.
that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I will
I
put
don't
it
have a
in the
presentation
description.
prepared like that, but some points
Oh,
are
no.
jotted.
Yeah, some, you can just write it down and send it to me, Prabhuji.
Sure,
Thank
sure.
you so much, Prabhuji. Very grateful to you. And that notes will be put in under the description box of the today's class, live class. So if you at all wanted to look for that, you can look it there. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And also, Prabhu, you are talking about preaching, spreading the message by giving the classes. But then how about preach if someone is, you are not capable to give a class or you are not able to do that? If somebody else is doing and you are helping that to happen, or you are helping them, is that also considered to be a preaching or no?
Yes, that is also preaching. There is a very wonderful shloka in 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which says, Yadne tapasi dane cha sthiti sat iti chochate karma chaiva tadarthiyam sat iti eva bhidhiyate. I think second last shloka of 17th chapter, wherein Krishna talks about what is sat. So he says, Yadne tapasi dane, yajna, dan and tapa, they are considered sat. But karma chaiva tadarthiyam sat iti eva bhidhiyate. Whatever is done for that, that is also sat. So if someone is doing preaching, basically, first of all, we need to understand that just giving lecture is not preaching. Preaching by an example or doing other services is also preaching basically. Preaching basically means giving people a chance to connect to Krishna. That is preaching, simply put. So if someone is just sweeping the floor of the Lord, let us say, someone is just cleaning the floor of the Lord, someone has cleaned the temple, the darshan is open, and then someone comes and says, my God, the place is meticulously clean. The moment he says that, his Sukruti has started, because he's glorifying something done here. And then he sees the deity, my God, such fabulously dressed, beautiful deities. So who has done the dressing? The Pujari has done the dressing. So the Pujari actually is preaching through dressing the deities. Someone who is just sweeping the floor is preaching through sweeping. So the point is, the shloka meaning is, what the main, there is main activity sat, and whatever is done for that activity, that also becomes sat. Like someone is giving a class and then someone is just arranging making some arrangements, that is also a part of preaching. So like yajna is given the example, yajna is sat. So collecting the wood, firewood for the yajna, cleaning the place for yajna, that is also a part of yajna. Like we give for non-vegetarian food, we give this, that someone who eats gets the reaction, but there are other 6 people who involved in the chain, they also get reaction. Anyone who transports, anyone who cooks, right? No? And anyone who has killed the animal, so anyone who has purchased, anyone who has cooked, anyone who has served, they also get reaction. So like that, there are many people who get the reaction, not only the one who is eating. Similarly, it is not only the one who is actually doing the preaching, but anyone who assists in between, anyone who is organizing in between, everyone gets the good reaction. In a sense, everyone get the good results of preaching. So this shloka I liked very much from Bhagavad Gita, 17th chapter, which talks about all the activities. So the dressing, Pujari is dressing the deities basically, but there are not everyone get a chance to dress the deities, but there are many others who are doing things in the background. Recently we had a festival of gratitude, and there is one HOD who is for DT department, but there are 150 volunteers under him. So organizing the jewelry, keeping them neat so that people can take keeping things at proper place. There are backup devotees who will do backup. There are pujaris who will do bhoga offering, and then there are those who will be cooking. There are those who will be making garlands. There are those who will be purchasing the flowers. There are those who are like actually planting the trees, planting those flowers. So everyone connected actually gets the benefit of Krishna consciousness. Someone's Sukruti might begin. So it is not only about giving a lecture, or everyone is connected in the mission of preaching.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Very, very encouraging. Very grateful to you, Prabhuji, for such a beautiful answer, explaining in every aspect, not only just the example of DT dressing. Yes, there is so many people who works behind the altar, who keeps everything arranged, and then the person who is eligible to do the service, he comes and he dresses up the deities. But then everybody is also getting the benefit of doing that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a beautiful example. I really like the class and the answer that you gave for my question. It's really satisfying me, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Shiva Kumar, Prabhuji, please go ahead with your question.
I think someone has put the notes of the class, so I don't have to share. Maybe you can just
I
copy from
think
here and
it's only one set of preach, right? You gave two.
Yeah, the second will also come maybe soon.
Okay, Prabhuji, expecting. I copied that one. The one was shared. I'm waiting for the other one. If somebody has the notes, then please send it. Shiva Kumar, Prabhu, please go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, and out Prams, Prabhu. Thank you so much for today's class, Prabhu. Prabhu, one question on purification, Prabhu. When we talk about purification, there is this attachment to Krishna, Krishna's paraphernalia, devotees, devotion service. And there is also this detachment from material things, affairs, and world, Prabhu. So I just wanted to understand, should there be conscious effort of a detachment from the material things and affairs, or would it automatically be developed as part of our attachment to the devotional service? Because in my personal experience, I see both still seem to coexist, Prabhu. So I'm just asking this question.
I'll give an example that I don't know whether I'll be able to draw, but I can try through the whiteboard, if there is a chance. Let us say my drawing is not so good, but still, what is happening? So this is a glass, Prabhu.
Hmm.
and this glass is filled with ink, you know.
Hmm.
Let us say it is filled up till here, till ink. And
Hmm.
now you want to, someone gives you a milk, and
Hmm.
you pour milk into this glass.
Hmm.
And then what will happen is, now the quantity has increased now, right?
Hmm.
And what you will have at the end is bluish milk,
Hmm.
because this was ink. Now the milk is added. Slowly, slowly, as you go on pouring the milk, what will happen? The level is rising constantly, and the
Hmm.
blue color is going down, going down, going down, going down. And now it is fully like filled now, and the color is still little, very little blue, but much of white. And still you keep on pouring, keep on pouring, keep on pouring milk, and now
Hmm.
it will spill off, right?
Yes,
Spill
Prabhu.
up the glass, spill up the glass, spill up the
Hmm.
glass. At one point, what will happen is that sometime will reach that you will have only milk in the glass, right?
Hmm.
Only milk
Yes,
in the
Prabhu.
glass. And no one
Hmm.
could even recognize that there was ink before. So
Okay.
similarly, in regards to your question of attachment,
Hmm.
that is like an ink.
Okay.
But when we pour in attachment to Krishna, attachment to the paraphernalia more and more and more and more,
Hmm.
we don't have to practice detachment separately. Like that ink, it will automatically fade away, and the glass will be full of now attachment to Krishna.
Hmm. 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 Okay.
So more we pour attachment to Krishna,
Hmm.
automatically there is detachment from the matter.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, Prabhu, you are saying there need not be any conscious effort of getting us detached from the material affairs. We'll just.
Some conscious efforts are like automatically we are trying to attach ourselves to Krishna, like when we sit and chant.
Hmm.
So that is basically attaching to ourselves to Krishna, right?
Yes.
Developing attachment to the holy name. So we
Hmm.
make some conscious efforts that our mind should not get distracted somewhere.
Hmm.
Right? Mind should
Hmm.
not think about the material objects. So we need
Hmm.
to make some conscious efforts while
Hmm.
cultivating attachment to Krishna.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it is not like, a very dedicated efforts. Now I am developing detachment. This is my time for developing detachment from matter. No, we need not do that. So while consciously cultivating the positive qualities,
Okay.
automatically, as I give the example, this is going to fade
Ah.
away.
Okay. Okay, Prabhu. So just one more quick question, Prabhu, on the same topic. We hear in many lectures that the suffering that Krishna gives is the purpose of suffering is for our purification. So, on the same topic, is it necessary that we have to be better
We have
attached
to.
to? Do we have to necessarily go through suffering to be better attached to the devotional life? The role of suffering, I'm asking, Prabhu, the purpose why Krishna gives suffering to devotees, is that the purpose is to be detached from the material affairs so that we can be better attached to devotional service?
The purpose is basically the purpose of suffering is that the place itself is place of suffering.
Okay.
Dukkhalayam ashashvatam, Krishna says. And yes, the purpose of suffering is that we should get tired of suffering from this and then think about going back to Godhead, where there is no suffering. Padam padam yad vipadam natesham, where the place where there is no suffering at all. So the purpose of suffering is that we look for a place where there is no suffering, that is spiritual world. And it is not that everyone has to go through suffering. Basically, there are the four suffering, Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha, Anudarshanam. Krishna says that everyone has to go through. But whenever we are suffering, it is not necessary that everyone has to go through a terrible suffering in life. Or I'm not getting enough suffering in my life, so I'm not getting purified. It is not like that. It is up to Krishna, because he knows best what works for us. I'll give an example. From Bali Maharaj, Krishna took away everything. And to Sudama, Krishna gave everything. Right? So, for us, what might work? Taking us everything away from us or giving everything to us? That Krishna knows.
Okay.
So, right? For Sudama, he was attached to his poverty. So Krishna removed his poverty and made a gold palace for him. And Bali Maharaj, he took away everything and captivated him, but at the end gave him Sutalloka. So what sort of suffering will come in what way, that we don't know. That is up to Krishna. So our constant prayer to Krishna should be that whether suffering or whether not suffering, whatever, let me remember you, oh my Lord. Let me remember you always. That should be our prayer to Lord.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Your lectures are always inspiring, very enriching and enlightening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shiv Kumar.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the beautiful answer. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, any more questions, any realizations? Yes, Prabhuji, everybody is praising your class. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Yes, you have got all those points in the chat
yes,
box.
Prabhuji, looks like everybody shared it.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
All glories to devotees who are sincerely taking the notes. Very grateful to all of you who put the notes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I would like to offer my obeisances to you and all the Vaishnavas assembled on the call. Vancha kalpatarobhyasya kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Grace. Krishnadan Prabhuji ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Nityananda. Thank you so much.